Hello, everybody. Big Crafter here, coming to you live before I go to work. Just thought I'd come on, gossip for a bit, and go out and play in the great big world of crazy people. I've been finally trying to find a way to use up this yarn that I got from a Christmas yarn swap. It's by Patent, and they don't make it anymore, as far as I know. But it's in rather thick, what do they call it? Not really chenille, but that super fuzzy, fluffy, soft yarn. It's a little bit bigger than a sport weight, and been trying to knit this into a giant, I guess you call it like a Mobius scarf. I've already broken one pair of circular needles trying to make this. The other night, I was just binge watching everything, and I tried 4 or 5 different pairs of needles, broke a pair. It's like I finally got the gauge I wanted because I refuse to crochet it. This type of yarn really does best when it's knitted. Usually a little bit tighter, but I don't have those needles anymore. So, but the plastic with polyester seems to be working out quite well. Not too holy. They do the finger test, but you can still see a little bit. One of the other things I wanted to gossip about today was I go to my little knitting crochet group at the library, usually on Monday nights if I have time. And there was a lady, before I got in there, a lady had walked by and talked to the other woman, and she said her daughter really wanted to learn how to knit. No clue why. There was no inspiration that anyone was aware of. No family members do it. Don't know if she saw a random video on YouTube. No idea. And her mom was just like to make the kid shut up, basically. She got this little kit where you can knit a donut. It's about, yay big. The needle size for anyone who knows how to knit was like a 4, maybe a 5 if you push it. They were really small. The needles were that long. I kid you not. They were so small. And with that gauge, I mean, you think smaller size, little kid hands. No, they really didn't work that well in her hands. I think it was meant for adults. And granted, I think the design on this overpriced kit, basically you just make a long rectangle. You sew the outside, you bring in the middle, and then you stuff it first, and then you pull in the middle, and basically it's just a tube with a scrunched up middle, and you can knit this donut, kind of like a glorified Christmas ornament. And the kid had already shredded the yarn. It was whoever designed this kit did not have children in mind. They really didn't. And so I started playing with it, trying to fix it. Mom finally shows up, and she was asking a lot of good questions and asking about the other lady's embroidery. Well, she cross stitch. It was cross stitch. So hopefully next week she will come back because our knitting group, some weeks only one person shows up. Other weeks we all show up. And there is the group where half the time all we ask is anyone showing up tonight? Is anyone showing up? I mean, I wish I brought my knitting the last time because for some reason most of us showed up crocheting. But yes, we must do everything we can to encourage the next generation to try and learn things. And usually they hide us in the back part of the library. Like, even though there's a sign up front that says, hey, activities night, here's the list, here's the direction you need to go to find everyone. We're not findable. We're on the list, but you just have to know that we are like the farthest back corner dead zone area. But this last time, it was the first time ever that we were put up front. We just had one small little table, and Normally they give us like 2 or 3 tables because they never know how many of us are gonna show up. So many times it's one person, huge area. Other times, every single seat is taken. But since they put us up front and the table was smaller, of course more of us showed up. Of course that's how it happens. And I'm just glad that we had at least one kid who's asking questions versus people say, "Oh, isn't that lovely?" They paw it all over and then throw it back in your hands. I'm like, did I ask for that? No. But the mother, she was asking some decent questions, and I gave the usual answers of like, yes, it's loop inside of a loop with two sticks, which is true. And she was just trying to find a way to help her daughter beyond, we'll just find random YouTube videos. And during conversation, we were able to find out that the kid is left-handed. You're not going to be doing content. Well, you will be doing continental if you want left-handed. You just won't be doing English style because we do have a left-handed person who knits English style in our group, but she does the slowest one stitch at a time. She uses like size 13 needles. She'll put like 4 strands together just to use up like the crappy yarn that gets donated because she knits scarves for the homeless. So she's not a big fan of designing things. It's just make stuff, give it out, make stuff, give it out. It's like, wouldn't it be nice to actually learn the stuff that's meant for a left-handed person? So we're able to help with that, and she won't be looking up just any old YouTube video. She just have to be a little more pointed. She's like, what's the point of all this? What's the point of knitting anyway? And for some reason, the first words that came to my mouth was socks, hats, mittens, bralettes. Don't know why I answered that. Not for a million years. But then her eyes got so big, she's like, she'll be making gifts from now on. Like all of a sudden she could see her future of what her kid could make for her if she got good. It's like, yeah, you can make whatever you want. That's part of the creative process. But yeah, I don't know why I thought socks. It's been a very, very long time since I've made socks. Or even socks with a heel. Last ones I made didn't even have heels. So hopefully we have started another person down this road of crafting addiction. I really hope I use up all the balls of this. So I really don't want to have to make a hat or something if there's like 2 balls left over. So this is still reasonably wide Mobius infinity style scarf. But hopefully next week they'll show up again. And if there's any questions, or hopefully next week there will be questions versus they disappeared to parts unknown. Like most people, I don't know what it is just with our group. It's like, I mean, the people who have grandkids and are retired, I get it. They have to travel the country, visit their grandkids, do the whole family thing. Great. But so many people who are like really into everything that they see that we're making, and then they just, fade into life. They fade away. Like, well, I guess all that enthusiasm was for nothing. Like, glad they had some for 2 whole seconds. It's almost wide now. Almost. Looking at what? Maybe 7 inches, 8 if you push it. With the super chunky. It's like chenille, but it's just so much fluffier. I do think it's a 2-ply when they made this one. Every once in a while, the needles separate them. But yes, leave any comments below if you have any questions, catch up, any similar problems in your local knitting groups where people say they're going to come and then they're gone. It's almost like a jinx. It's like if you can get someone to say, "Oh yes, we're coming," it's guaranteed that you'll never see them ever again. Well, that's just the way it feels anyway. Get someone to come and disappear forever. A lot of the stuff, or a lot of the people that comment on it, they're just in the library. The first time that they've ever seen us or seen anyone who can actually do the craft. 'Cause it's not like they got lost on YouTube. They just wandered through the library on a Monday night. Oh, also just to say, if you're watching the replay, the handmade scrunchies are for sale in the eBay store. They're posted finally. Some are singles, some are pairs. Everything is priced based on how long it took me to make it. Not the design part. But beading takes forever. That's why beaded stuff is always so much more expensive. But yes. It is done. It is done. See if I can't last the 15-minute mark. If you ever want to invest in something good for winter dry skin, these bamboo back scratchers are the best. It's also good for massage and just reaching things you can't reach and picking stuff up off the floor if you don't want to bend over and get something. That little crook at the end. It's worth the $3. I think they sell them in multi-packs on eBay because they're cheaper than the exact same ones on Amazon. Last night I had a girl. I was driving around and people can be just so rude. It's like, I think she's going the wrong way. Telling her friend on the phone. It's like, you have a map, read it. She made it sound like we were on the wrong side of the Metroplex. No, we were exactly right on target. Just didn't take the highway because when your next ride pops up on the screen, it blocks your map to where I did not know I needed, because I was at a three-way split. Didn't know I needed the middle one. And the left-handed one wasn't that, it didn't make me go that far additional out of the way. It just didn't take the highway. Just, freaking out in the back. Because I usually pretend that I'm deaf. I put a sign up so when they do freak out, basically all that means is that they can't yell at me to do stuff. It's like, well, excuse me for stopping you from being socially inappropriate. Excuse me for stopping you from yelling at me for something you don't need to yell at me for. It's like, if you could read a map, you could fix a lot of your own problems. And heaven forbid you just shut up and fix your own problem. And thank God for my perceived disability. Otherwise, society deserves sometimes to be treated this poorly. They really do. Or one of the other knitters, every time she looks at me, she just starts laughing when she remembers that sometimes I pretend to be deaf. And she makes all these assumptions about how people react, and they really don't react that much. I say mostly there's those that just, fall asleep and ignore everything, and then there are those who get mad that they can't try and yak my ear off into their will. And all they had to do is read the map to know that I'm following directions. And I only follow those directions. And if they wanted to go to the gas station, they should have added it. because going to the gas station costs extra. If they're trying to get it for free by yelling at me, which they can't do because I can't hear, it's like, see, your cheapness is not paying off here. I mean, I don't mind being something of a people pleaser, but at the same time, if I was a hearing person who told them no, it costs extra to stop, I guarantee you they would report it as bad customer service. No, it's called a bad customer. But if I'm deaf, oh well. Just text back. Edit ride. Well, I edit the ride. Edit the ride. No comprende otherwise. But it is kind of fun to watch them squirm. Like, yes, throw a hissy fit for why you can't emotionally abuse your driver into submission. Like, I'm here for the money, not the abuse. Or my other favorite is when the in order to do sign language correctly, the person has to be looking at you. And if the person can't see what you're doing in a straight on motion, who the heck you signing to? Who the heck you trying to talk to? Someone who is not seeing, cannot see, and will not respond because they do not see your communication. So I don't care how many classes and how long ago you took such a class. If the person ain't looking at you, you didn't perform sign language. Key there being language. If communication did not occur, what did you do? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Well, if anyone likes to watch the replay, thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. I gotta hit the road with a bunch of crazy people and fight the glare from the sun. Can't wait for hubby to not be working first shift anymore. The man's been waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to work. Normally, that's when he goes to bed. So can't wait for training to be over with. So, have a good one, y'all. Like I said, everything is for sale in the eBay store. Link will be below.